Raining Ducks. It's right here. The most phenomenal podcast you're ever going to see, you're ever going to find. I got Sweet Jared Brandon right here.
Sweet Jared.
This is great. Hey, I want to thank our sponsors, as always. Capital Nissan, actually just brand new. They just took over Nissan, the manufacturer, so you can find them on Cherry and the Salem Parkway, a.k.a. Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway now. I don't know when that happened. Do you guys remember when that happened?
A couple of years ago.
Was it really? It's been 2 years? Where have I been? Anyways, that's the place to go.
You just don't go north, so you.
No, well, yeah, I don't know which way I go half the time. But Green Acres Landscape, appreciate them. GA at Home, also out there on Gaffin Road, got a phenomenal little, I guess it's a store out there, and they can take care of all your landscape stuff. And it's almost Christmas tree time and Christmas light time, so they can do both. So if you need some, go see them. And we have Dutch Bros Coffee and Advantage Heating and Air and electrical now. So they got the full gamut. They can take care of all your needs. And I use them, so why wouldn't you? It's a great way to go. So guys, okay, so this is our fourth podcast here, Raining Ducks. And how do you like the backdrop, man? I know we had it last week.
I like
but
it.
This is cool.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah.
I do.
It looks like bricks. It's actually fans in the background in the stands, but it's. I thought it was bricks when I first saw it. So.
Well, I can't see that far. It looks like a sunset to me.
I was gonna say it looks like a sunset. Yeah. No, it looks good.
Oh gosh!
Like
All right. Well, Ducks came away with a victory against UCLA at the Rose Bowl on Saturday evening late, and it was a good thing that I didn't stay up for the second half because there was pretty much nothing that went on. But the first half, the Ducks actually looked really, really good. They were solid. Dylan Gabriel looked great. Tez Johnson had a phenomenal night. I don't know, just under 200 yards receiving.
121.
121, 11
touchdowns.
catches.
Yeah, just under 200 yards.
Yeah, just under 200.
Just
Yeah,
under. Yeah. Player of the week. Come on.
Just a skosh. Great first half. On the road, first Big Ten game. Did everything that you wanted to do in the first half until that little toss at the end where Brian Addison gave him a little gift there.
Interception, by the way, in case you didn't know what the gift was.
Pick six. Pick six at the
Pick
goal line.
six
Yeah.
with 5 seconds left in the half, and Tez fell down on it.
Yeah.
Brandon and I were talking about it on the way over, like, sheesh. And then the second half, it's tough to pick apart a team. That game was all but over in the first half. All but over. It ended up being 34-13. That second half was just I don't know what was going on there. Just running out the time, trying a few things different, got it really vanilla.
I'm thinking that that was getting up that big in that first half. I think they came out and just said, you know what, we don't need to injure anybody. We got some big games coming up, so let's just
Anybody
go.
else?
We've got
Yeah,
a
no
pretty
kidding.
good lead. I think it kind of reminded me of the first two games, Sans Oregon State, where they were just doing enough to move the ball, keep the clock running, and not turn the ball over and let the other team back in it. That didn't work out so well against Boise State, but
Prevent defense doesn't necessarily work. And a prime example of that is the Alabama-Georgia game.
Oh, boy.
Alabama was smoking Georgia. What was that, 30-3, I think, at the half? And then all of a sudden, Georgia comes back and takes the lead 34-3. That was the craziest finish I've ever seen in my life. But we have to mention that because it seems like every coach is notorious for doing that. And it's exactly what you're talking about. You don't want to get guys injured, what have you. But, I mean, when you're playing a Georgia team and you're Alabama,
Yeah.
you know they're coming back.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. If you keep going 3 and out, they're coming. I mean, they were slinging balls all over the place. And it's actually the second half was the most entertaining thing I think I've ever seen.
it was pretty good football. In fact, I might have missed the start of the Duck game.
Oh, so
It was
did I.
being
Yeah,
recorded.
so
I
did
was
I.
like, I don't know if I can turn this off. I'm just going to record, and then I can miss some commercials.
No, that was a great game. If you didn't see that, you need to go back and watch it. The last two scores, back to back, just bombs. I don't think I've seen that kind of athleticism before, ever, in
Yeah.
two plays like that. The receivers and just the athleticism on both those squads is ridiculous.
The
If they don't
receiver
play-
for Alabama, the freshman Ryan Williams.
yes,
Holy, his
17-year-old kid.
body control on that last catch was crazy. It was like, oh, he's down. Nope. Oh, he's down. Nope. Touchdown.
Do you call it Dion-esque, or do you call it almost a Reggie Bush style of running there? It was really similar to that.
tall, skinny kid, but athleticism to spare. I think Tez Johnson has a little bit of that because guy looks like he's made out of rubber,
right.
and he pops up every time after a really big hit and stuff.
I'm going to go with a Calvin Johnson-esque.
Okay.
Big, tall receiver like that. Maybe he's
see
not
that.
He's
quite
gonna
as
fill out, but yeah.
not quite as filled out as
only
Megatron,
17.
but yeah, give him some time. He'll be there. But yeah, his body control was phenomenal on that catch. So.
Yeah, it was amazing. The other player that really impressed me, Boise State, Jean Tay.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's how
another
you
one.
say it. I mean, this guy just doesn't go down. He just keeps on going. I don't even know how he stays up. He hits people. He stays up. He keeps going. This guy, he squats 600 pounds.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's 3 of us put together.
It is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, okay, maybe not quite.
You know what?
but
Let's
pretty
just
darn
go.
close.
Just go with it, Jeff. It's
Okay,
the 3
dang,
of
I
us
better
put
turn
together.
that thing off. My apologies.
But,
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that prevent, not necessarily from the defensive side, because I thought the defense played great all night.
Mm-hmm.
The Jordan Birch was living in the
Oh, he
UCLA
was
backfield
so
in the first
good,
half. It was like, oh, he's in the backfield again. Another
Garbers
disruption.
had no chance.
No,
no
he didn't.
chance whatsoever. I mean, he was in his face the entire time.
He
and
was.
I swear, if our defense plays that well, Duck defense, throughout the remainder of the year, they're going to be tough to beat.
It was interesting after the game. Jordan Birch was asked about it and stuff, and he was talking about, even if I don't get a bunch of sacks, I want to be back there disrupting things. I
Yeah.
want to be the cause of all this chaos and stuff. And
He
gosh,
sure
he
was.
He was a beast.
Yeah, he was.
You know, it was interesting. We talked last week a little bit about UCLA's defense and Brian Addison and stuff. Now I know why Brian Addison gets so many darn tackles. It looks like they were trying to sell out to stop the run on us.
Uh-huh.
That didn't work out so well for him. You know,
Right.
he got Jordan James got 103 yards, so went over 100 yards. That was nice to see. But they were selling out on that run game, and Brian Addison was like the guy that had to tackle everybody back.
Right.
Once you got past the linebackers, whoo.
Yeah, it was nothing but green pasture.
Yeah. And it looked to me like Addison was playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
gosh,
I mean,
yes.
he was that hit that he had on Ferguson. He's
Yeah.
celebrating, and Terrence is on the ground. It's
Yeah,
like,
Dylan
dude, you
Gabriel
played
got in
with
his
that guy.
face on that one.
He did.
That was
I
pretty
like that.
intense.
I did too.
He didn't really. It didn't seem like he really hit him that hard. It was just the fact that Ferguson was up in the air and it was awkward, and he came down obviously really hard. So, really, could that have been a targeting call? I don't know because he didn't hit him in the head, but it was at the shoulder. But still,
My
a
wife was
defensive
going
player.
nuts, but it was a forearm to the head neck area. And
Yeah.
it just. I don't know. I need to go reread it because that to me looked like targeting.
But what is targeting? Is it just with the helmet? Because I think it's with the helmet that they're really focusing
Leading
on.
in the
Not,
ground helmet,
yeah,
yeah.
and so it's not necessarily with an elbow to the head. That's
Well,
not
they've got
considered.
so many different nuances to that.
Defenseless
defenseless
player.
There you go. And you mostly get that with a receiver going across the middle in a situation like that. But
Well, I
you know,
heard,
he
I heard
made
that.
a football play. He wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. But neither is most
I
of
heard
the
that
targeting
pass
plays to
called
me.
a hospital pass. Read that somewhere. Because Gabriel threw it up there in the air, and Terrence was up there, and then bam.
It's a great throw, and it was a great pop. I mean, that's what we used to see all the time. I've seen worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that Ferguson was knocked out. He was done, and he got up. He went to the locker room. Did he come back?
No,
I don't think he did.
He was out for the rest of the game.
So, and I think that's important. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily need him at that point in the game. So, save him for the all-powerful Michigan State Spartans coming up on Friday, who just took a shellacking against Ohio State. What was that? 38-7.
Yeah.
And this game, after it was 10-7, and then after that, it wasn't even close. So Jonathan Smith, a little bit of a struggle so far to begin the season. I don't know what to make of that, but I guess we can talk about that in our next segment. Jerry Harris, along with Brandon Haynes, Sweet Jer, Jeff Morgan here. Raining Ducks podcast. It's a good time. Hopefully you're enjoying us talking Ducks and more. We'll be back after this.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have knee, hip, back, or shoulder pain? Do you hurt just going up and down stairs or getting in and out of your car? What if I told you there was a solution? One that requires no surgery and no downtime.
I couldn't even run 10 steps, without having pain. Just feel results within days.
Contact us today and find out if regenerative medicine is right for you. This could be the first step towards a new and pain-free you.
And welcome back to Raining Ducks, the podcast of the century. Right here from the KYKN studios. We're kind of affiliated with the radio station here in Salem. Raining Ducks podcast brought to you by Capital Nissan, right down here in North Salem, just down the street from us, and Advantage Heating and Air and Electrical, as well as Green Acres Landscape and GA at Home out there off of Highway 22 towards the east, riding towards Staten. And if you need any of their services, we appreciate them. Definitely give them a call, and they support us. Appreciate it if you support them. Be awesome. Jerry Harris, along with Jeff Morgan and Brandon Haynes, to my right, to my left, and we thought it was going to be a bigger game coming up. Michigan State coming to Autzen Stadium Friday night, a 6 p.m. kickoff, and Jonathan Smith coming back to Autzen Stadium. Last time he was here, he got his butt kicked. And that was for the Civil War. The final, well, I guess it's still the Civil War, but the final one on Thanksgiving weekend anyway. So headed out to Michigan State. I think he told his team he was heading there before they actually played the game, the Civil War, back in November. So now he's got a little homecoming here. And, Aiden Childs, the quarterback, let's see what this guy can do at Autzen Stadium.
I think we saw what he did a little bit last year on the Civil War game. Looking at his stats this year, it looks like he maybe could have used another year.
Well, yeah, he's got 5 TDs and 8 picks.
Yeah.
The favorite player of the fans on every team is always the backup quarterback.
Exactly.
Get rid of that bum and put that guy in. Well, then that guy comes in.
Yeah, he didn't
There's
do
a
very
reason why he was riding the pines, right?
Yeah. Well, he got in a few games last year for the Beavers when they had DJ Uyangalele starting, and it was like a little nice change of pace for him to get him in there, maybe show some different coverages and stuff like that, or some different throws. And he seemed to do well last year when he would come in relief for DJ, but this year, yeah, he's just having a hard time keeping the ball on his side of the team.
Yeah, it was a wash between him and Ethan Garbers for their quarterback stats when I was looking through the Big Ten quarterback stats. So Ethan didn't fare very well against us.
No, I don't think Childs is going to
I don't
fare
think
very
Childs
well
is
either.
either.
And it could be a long night. That'll be 2 in a row. Getting drilled by Ohio State last weekend,
Yeah.
the 38-7, and really Ohio State took the pedal off the metal in the fourth quarter. Nothing even happened, and so they really could have destroyed them, and they chose not to. So you got a little sportsmanship going on there, but this could have been in the 50s. So I think really the Ducks probably have an opportunity to do the same thing, but I think if it gets to be an out-of-whack score like that, I think they're going to do the same, just like they did against UCLA this past weekend. I think they're going to take the pedal off the metal. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, there was a lot of people that left Michigan State. That cupboard was kind of bare when he went there. He brought a few Beavers with him. He got Ben Roberts from us and Anthony Jones.
Anthony Jones, yeah.
And we've got, who was it, Harmon from
Derek
them?
Harmon.
Derek Harmon.
Who's been phenomenal.
I think we won.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we
Derek
got the better
Harmon,
deal there.
he's been almost as disruptive as Jordan Birch all year. The 3 guys that we got on the D-line with Jamari Caldwell, Harmon, and Birch have been causing havoc on those offensive lines, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. Oh, and then Mateo and
Tatum Tuioti.
Yeah. I love that kid, man. Number
Yeah.
44. He's in on stuff all the time. He's a disruptor too.
Yeah.
So you've got our linebacker, what is it, Betcher?
Betcher,
Yeah,
yeah.
Betcher. I
Betcher.
mean, that guy's a stud. He had a pick the UCLA
did.
game, so that was awesome. Didn't go anywhere, but yeah, that was an errant throw by Garbers. But, you got to be there and you got to catch it. So good for him. And, he's an outfielder, so he should have caught that ball.
Exactly.
It was interesting because Bassa was back this week, and it cut down on some of that time that Betcher was in there. I think he only had 3 tackles in this game after
Yeah.
leading the Ducks the first 3 games. So
Well, and I think Bassa's been dinged up a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's probably what's been limiting his playing time. But it actually looked like this week we had all 4 linebackers healthy. You had Bassa, Betcher, Justin Jacobs, and Devin Jackson were just playing a lot. And
boy, Devin Jackson is
I'm
he's starting to
excited
show,
about
isn't he?
Devin Jackson.
He's
Yep.
fast. He ran down somebody on the sidelines and knocked away a ball that I was just like, whoa.
Yeah,
'Cause
fastest
I'm
kid on the
thinking-
team.
I'm thinking that's probably a safety or maybe a nickel coming across there. And oh, crap, that was Devin Jackson.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
He's been Bassa got a sack. on Saturday night. So yeah, I think he's finally getting back healthy. And like I said, I'm really excited
Kenyon
about
Sadiq
Devin.
looked really good
Yeah.
for us too. I mean,
He did.
they had they've been putting plays in for him every game because he's kind of just such a freak. That
Right.
guy is a stud. That guy is going to continue to get better. I haven't seen an update yet on Ferguson. My wife was asking about it this morning. Have you heard anything? Come on, honey. But
Dan didn't call you? I mean,
no,
I had like a 45-minute conversation with him this morning.
That's funny.
It was completely
So
one-sided.
what did he say? Yeah.
Anyway, I did all the talking.
Well, of course you did.
Line was blank on the other end.
That's funny. Well, you know what? I have to say that defensively, it's nice to have all those linebackers healthy because now we can rotate them in and out, and that really bodes well for our defense because the guys are going to be healthier, they're going to be quicker. When you can get some rest in the game and you're not out there all the time, I swear we're going to be faster and stronger. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to see here in the next couple of games. I mean, this one I thought was going to be a little bit better with Michigan State, but the one coming up, October 11th, we've got
12th.
the Buckeyes.
October
Is it the
12th?
12th?
12th.
That's a Saturday?
Saturday.
I don't have my calendar in front of me. Whatever. I'm a day off. But that's going
Come
to
on,
be.
Jeff. This is the biggest game in Autzen history we got coming in here.
Yes, it is. And okay, yeah, it's the biggest game. I got the
is.
date wrong.
I don't want you
So
to
just
miss
don't
it.
show up on the 11th. Show up on the 12th. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday game. 4:30 kickoff, by the way. That was just announced, and so looking forward to this one. This is going to be one that I think we were
That-
talking about this before the show. This is going to be the biggest sellout ever. I don't know how many standing room only tickets they sold, but there's going to be a bunch. And I'm going to be curious to see how many Ohio State fans actually
Me
did
too.
buy season tickets to the Ducks, sold the other games, and are coming out here for the game. And they travel. There's going to be a lot of red. I guarantee
I
it.
bet it's a lot.
Guarantee
and they'll
it.
be invading, some of our traditional seats where it's
Yeah.
only boosters and stuff. These guys went online and bought stuff. The prices of tickets and stuff, upwards of $1,000 a seat.
They
and
don't
I'm just like,
care.
you got to be kidding me.
The good news is that since they're not season ticket holders in the past, they were the very last people to buy. So they're not going to necessarily be the best seats, but they're going to be seats where they normally wouldn't
They'll be up above. I mean, they'll be
Yeah.
mixed in. It's I've never liked the sweaters. I don't know if anybody's going to be sporting a sweater. The Jim Tressel days, fear the sweater. Does anybody remember that?
No. I don't
Yeah,
think
you know-
anybody in the Big Ten feared the sweater.
No, I don't. Yeah. Well, they were good. I mean, they're always
Yeah.
good. And this is going to be a heck of a game. And Ohio State's the real deal. And so this is going to be a great game at Autzen Stadium. The crowd is going to be rocking despite how many Ohio State fans are there. It's going to be loud.
Yeah.
So I've been to loud games. I think the loudest game that I think I've been to is the Michigan State game back in I think 2013 or 14. Marcus Mariota. That was a tough game until the end, and there were some amazing plays in that game. And Mariota had a great showing.
He did.
Escaping a lot of would-be sackers coming in, linemen, and. There was one play where he just kind of threw that thing, and I can't remember who he threw that to, but it was to a running back and got a first down, and that actually set the precedence for a Duck victory during that game, plus an interception at the end. I can't remember who made that play, but wow, there's been so many great games,
John
and this is going to be
Boyette.
one of them. I don't
Maybe?
think so, no. No, it wasn't Boyette. Can't remember who it was, though. It doesn't matter.
I may be going the wrong area.
I mean, I can remember when the Ohio State game is coming up, but I couldn't tell you what happened in the Michigan State game 10 years ago.
Thing is,
Hey, the loudest game I ever went to was the USC game, the night game on
Oh,
Halloween.
Fright Night.
Yeah, that was
Oh, my
awesome.
Gosh, that thing was so loud. The other time that was probably the loudest single moment was in the Civil War when Keenan Howry returned that punt in the rain. Oh my gosh, and the wind was whipping around, and we had those old wet pom-poms that they handed out in the entire
I was
stadium. And people were throwing those everywhere, and they're blowing this way and that. That thing was a blast. It's amazing how much the fans get up for a game like that. Because even before, them coming out of the tunnel, it is so stinking loud when that first happens and stuff. This game, they're going to be up for it.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be wild. And it's
if
another blackout,
game
by
day
the way.
comes,
It is another blackout.
Another blackout.
Love that.
So it's
Yeah.
not going to be Fright Night, but it could be close. It's 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
So I don't know Halloween is, Jerry, because my dates are always off.
But just like us, I hope the team is not looking past Michigan State to Ohio State.
That's never going to happen.
Stay in the moment, and you got to.
No, I
play the
think
next
with
game.
Jonathan Smith coming in, I think they want to prove a point. They need to keep going because the UCLA game last Saturday, that was not impressive. It was in the first half, but then I think after that interception, guys, I think Dylan Gabriel lost a little bit of confidence there. He didn't want to make any mistakes. And I don't know if it was necessarily his mistakes. He didn't want people to slip because the Rose Bowl is notorious for being wet turf.
Yeah.
Even at the Rose Bowls, I mean, if you look at that, there's always somebody slipping and sliding, and so you got to have longer cleats on. Otherwise, you're going to be doing exactly what Tez Johnson did. You're going to go down. There's going to be a pick, and it's going to go the other way.
Well, it always seems like they just rolled out new turf on that thing, and it's never quite taken yet.
Right.
You know?
Well, it is LA. They don't have really much water, I don't think, but or Pasadena. Maybe Pasadena has a well. They probably do.
I mean, they're on a golf course, so they got to have some water.
Well, they
right?
are.
Yeah, but I think Jerry's probably right. Is like they set the turf down, and maybe it just doesn't have time to set before completely. Before.
Well, they always talk about that because when's the last game of the year? The first week of December or whatever, and then the Rose Bowl is always on New Year's Day or whatever. There's 30 days, and they just rolled out all new turf, so you got 30 days worth of that thing coming down. But they always talk about it. I remember Brent Musburger talking about it back in the day. For goodness sakes,
Yeah.
it's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't changed, but it's one of the coolest venues that you'll ever go to. Gosh, I've been to like 6 Rose Bowls, I think, and I grew up down there, and I never went to one until I became a Duck fan, and then I started going to all these bowl games. It's crazy, but it's a lot of fun, and looking forward to just the excitement of Autzen Stadium, not only this Friday, but the following Saturday, Ohio State. This one's been on the calendar, and they've been waiting for this one, both squads. The last time Ducks went into Buckeye Stadium, they knocked them off. And that was a great defensive showing against the Buckeyes. And the offense really came to play too. So we're going to need to see that because Ohio State's defense is really, really good. They're big, they're stout. How big are the Ducks compared to them from recent years? From Dan Lanning recruiting some bigger dudes and quicker. That remains to be seen right now.
The interesting thing is all the time, I've been watching interviews all year long, and it started, in the first game of the year where they were talking about, well, Ohio State isn't really going to be challenged until that trip to Eugene. And then they're talking about us, the Ducks look like they got a pretty good preseason until the Buckeyes come a-calling. This is the game. This game's been circled on the calendar since the schedules were released. So this, I'm getting excited now. We still got Michigan State next week. Darn it.
Run through a wall, Jerry. Let's see you.
I love when Jerry gets excited.
No, my shoulder hurts already.
That's right. Jerry Harris, Brandon Haynes, Jeff Morgan, the Rainy Ducks podcast, and we're also broadcasting this thing live on KYKN as well, just for your enjoyment. And how can you not be enjoyed? How can you not be entertained by the Ducks?
I thought you were going to go into are you not entertained?
Well, that's where it all comes from. Everything comes from a movie. So we could be watching a movie right now. We have no idea. Are things real or are they not? I
don't know.
Is it Memorex?
I didn't take the red
I'm
pill.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what pill I took. I'm just here.
You got any more?
Oh gosh. So coming up on Michigan State, I really don't think this one's going to be that much of a challenge. I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw at the UCLA game. I think both those teams are very, very similar in the way they play and their athleticism and their athletes. I think they're definitely below par as far as the Ducks squad.
I'll tell you what, after that UCLA game, and Brandon and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, I have to question UCLA's commitment to football. And even watching that game on TV, the fans' commitment, my goodness, how empty was that stadium? I bet they didn't have 40,000 fans in that thing. You had 5 former Ducks in that game, and those guys were chippy the whole game. I think the defense definitely got up for that thing. But I question their commitment to football. I don't question Michigan State's commitment to football. Those guys are big. Nick Saban used to coach there, for goodness sakes. They went out and got the Colorado coach because they thought he was the new big up-and-coming guy. Don't remember what his name is. Don't want to talk about him anyways. Is he in jail yet? But then you move on. And they went out and got Jonathan Smith, right? Jonathan Smith was doing really good things with Oregon State, frustrating the hell out of all of us Duck faithful. But they went out and got him. Their commitment to football is strong.
And Jonathan Smith he's a good coach. I mean, don't kid yourself. He takes mediocre, maybe better than mediocre talent, and he makes them really, really good. But I think he did that at Oregon State. It was his alma mater. And so that may have had something to do with it. Don't know. But we're going to find out at Michigan State what he's going to be capable of here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I was just to say his fourth year where he's built up some of these young guys, but he also they have an opportunity to recruit at a much higher level there. They've got a
Michigan
lot more
State's
money,
a lot more serious about football than Oregon State.
So you see it. So, but he's always had his kind of guys, and Brent Bray's doing the same thing right now with them. We're looking for our guys, and they're winners on the high school level, but they're usually a little undersized, and they build them up. They get them in the weight room. Pretty soon you got all these monsters coming out there. They don't have them this year, but I think that approach at Michigan State with Jonathan Smith's development, they could be really good in a couple of years. They're not going to be good until a couple of years, though.
I agree with you. Well, you know what? Sorry, Brandon, but we're gonna have to cut this thing off. We've only got so much time in the Raining Ducks podcast.
We got to go to 45 minutes.
Well, we could. I mean, we could pretty much do whatever we want, but we're not going to. Raining Ducks podcast, 1430 KYKN as well. We'll catch you next time.
Go Ducks.